Namaste, welcome to the channel where we explore stories and insights from ancient Indian texts. Today we delve into the story of Yajnavalkya and King Janaka, the light of the light from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. There have been many occasions when Yajnavalkya and King Janaka have met with each other and discussed at length about things related to the Brahman and about the knowledge of the self. King Janaka was very fond of Yajnavalkya, and whenever he found a chance to meet him, he would keep asking him several questions for which he himself had no complete answer. King Janaka was an adept in Vaisvanara Vidya, or the knowledge of the universal self. On one occasion a discussion took place between Janaka, Yajnavalkya and other students on this subject of the worship of the universal self. Every question asked to Janaka was promptly answered then and there by him. Yajnavalkya was highly pleased with the knowledge of Janaka, and said, "Ask for a boon." Then Janaka said, "May I be permitted to ask questions whenever I please, whenever I want to ask." That was all that he asked for. On another occasion when Yajnavalkya met Janaka, he thought that he would not speak, that he would keep quiet. It seemed as if Yajnavalkya was in the fullness of his soul. But Janaka, as usual, did not want to miss the chance. It was then that he drew upon the boon that he had got from Yajnavalkya, and there was no other way for the sage but to answer the questions of King Janaka. When the sage agreed to speak, then King Janaka asked him a very relevant and important question related to the knowledge of self. "O revered sage, what is the light that illumines a person, the light that awakens and impels him to perform all that he does?" Ultimately, it is a sort of illumination, an awakening, a knowledge, which can be regarded as the light. Now, what is this light? Yajnavalkya gave a very straightforward answer by saying, "The sun, O king, for it is the sun alone that is the source of all light, and it is for this light that man sits, moves about, does all his work and returns. If the light of the sun were not to be there, activity would be impossible. So your question is answered." "That's right, O venerable sage, but when the sun has set, what is it that helps man as light, with the help of which people perform their functions? When the sun is not there, the moon is there. With the help of moonlight, people may work. All actions are performed by the moonlight if the sunlight is not there," was the reply of Yajnavalkya. "All right, I agree, but when the sun is not there, the moon is also not there, then what is it that guides man as his light?" Thus asked Janaka the third question. Then Rishi Yajnavalkya replied, "When the sun has set and the moon is not there, fire is the light then. You light a fire if there is no sun and no moon, and with the light and the warmth of the fire that you burn, you may be comforted, and you may do your work." "I am all in agreement with you," said Janaka, and continued asking, "But what then is the light when there is no sun, no moon and no fire? When everything goes, and no light is there at all, no torch, not even stars twinkling in the sky, everything is pitch darkness, how do you communicate with people? How do you know where what is? Speech, indeed, is the light when all these are absent. Even though we cannot see our hand in the dark, we can hear the voice and move towards the sound. By sounds and by speech people communicate their ideas with one another. Merely by speech they can work, if everything else fails." Janaka was happy but had still one more question. He asked, "O revered sage, when sun sets, moon is not there, fire is absent and there is no speech, then what is the light? Suppose there is nobody around you, and nobody speaks, no sound is coming forth, everything is dark, sun has gone, moon has gone, fire does not burn, what is the light then? What will you do at that time? The self, indeed, is a light, O king, for by that we sit, move, work, go out and come back." Janaka was deeply touched by this but wanted to know from Yajnavalkya more about the self that he referred to as the light of all lights. Yajnavalkya continued to impart the knowledge of the self to King Janaka. "You guide yourself by yourself. You have a special sense in you. You may call it a sixth sense. Apart from the five senses, we have a sixth sense in us by which we act when everything else fails. It is a kind of inward illumination which begins to reveal itself when everything else fails as a support. That light is our own self, but the essence of all that Yajnavalkya spoke to King Janaka about the self is like this. The self is the pure awareness that shines as the light within the heart, surrounded by the senses. It is this self that is one with the soul reality, the Brahman. This self is free from desire, from evil and from fear. The man who is union with the self sees without seeing, smells without smelling, tastes without tasting, speaking without speaking, hears without hearing, touches without touching, thinks without thinking, knows without knowing, for there is nothing separate from him. This state of not having another is the state of unity, one without a second, and that is the world of Brahman. This is the supreme goal of life, the supreme treasure, the supreme joy. Yajnavalkya, the sage, and King Janaka, the seeker, have unraveled the cosmic mysteries, the dance of suns, moons, and flames, all leading to the luminous heart of existence. So, as we come to the end of today's story, we learn that the self, the pure awareness within, is our eternal light. It transcends all transient luminaries, guiding us even in the darkest hours. It is the unity beyond separateness, the Brahman itself. Dear seekers, may you carry this flame within you. Like, subscribe, and share this wisdom with fellow travelers on the path. And remember, in the silence of your heart, the self awaits, an ever-burning lamp in the temple of your soul. Until next time, may the light guide you. Namaste.